This is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, and I have to tell you a snowstorm is now looking likely across areas of the southeast for this upcoming weekend. And when I say likely, I mean the signals have been strengthening with every single model run. Both major models are on board. The ensembles are showing strong support. The temperatures are going to be absolutely frigid. This is shaping up to be one of those rare, potentially historic winter events that we simply do not see very often this far south. For those of you who remember the legendary winter of 2013, particularly that February nor'easter that buried the Northeast under more than 2 feet of snow, what we are watching develop has that same kind of historic potential. The difference is this storm is targeting areas much further south than typical, with the Carolinas, Virginia, and the Mid-Atlantic in the crosshairs for significant accumulations. The cold air in place is comparable to some of the most extreme Arctic outbreaks we have seen in the past decade. Let me break down exactly what the latest models are showing because the trends over the past 24 hours have been remarkable. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. The European model, which had been trending east and backing off the snow threat, has now swung back west in a big way. The 18-hour run that just came in is absolutely massive. This is fresh information and it shows a significant snowstorm developing Saturday morning across the Carolinas and surrounding states. What makes this signal so impressive is that the Euro had been backing off, and now it is showing its biggest run in over a day. When the typically conservative European model starts showing these kinds of totals, you have to pay attention. The setup works like this. Friday evening, we see some snow breaking out across the central and southern Appalachians. By midnight Friday, the dots start to connect with moisture off the Carolina coast, moisture coming out of the Northeast Gulf, and northern stream energy diving south. All of this is happening with deep cold air already in place. And then, boom! Saturday morning, we have a full-blown snowstorm across the Carolinas. Here is what makes this event so significant. This is snow falling in extremely cold temperatures, meaning the snow ratios will be much higher than the typical 10-to-1. Instead of getting 10 inches of snow for every inch of liquid precipitation, we could see 15-to-1 or even 20-to-1 ratios. That means a quarter inch of precipitation could translate to 5 or 6 inches of snow. A half inch could mean a foot of snow on the ground. The GFS model continues to drop absolute banger runs. It has been going crazy with this storm for multiple runs now, and the latest continues that trend. It shows snow as far back as Middle Tennessee and northern Alabama Saturday morning, with the Carolinas getting absolutely hammered. The storm wraps all the way down to Columbia, Augusta, and Charlotte. Raleigh gets rocked. This model shows a potential blizzard across the upper southeast coastline and mid-Atlantic, with the heaviest snow staying just offshore, but close enough to deliver historic impacts. The Canadian model backed off slightly from its craziest scenarios, but still shows a widespread area getting snow. Light snow extending back to Huntsville and almost down to Birmingham and Atlanta, with the bulk of the heaviest snow to the east. The GFS AI model has had a steady 36-hour trend to the west, which favors more snow further inland. The Euro AI shows the same thing with a big upper-level low influence bringing heavy snow across eastern Georgia through the middle of the Carolinas. Now let me give you the regional breakdown with specific city forecasts because I know that is exactly what you need. Starting with the deep south, this is where things get truly unusual. Atlanta, do not give up on this storm. The models show a sharp cutoff near the Georgia-South Carolina border, but trends have been creeping southwest. There is absolutely potential for accumulating snow in the Atlanta metro if trends continue just slightly more west. Augusta could see significant accumulations with some models showing 4 to 6 inches or more. Savannah is on the edge but could see snow showers. For Georgia as a whole, northeast sections are solidly in the snow zone with potential for several inches. The mountains could see substantial accumulation. Central Georgia, including Macon, is on the edge and watching closely. This would be the most significant snow event for Georgia since the legendary winters of 2013 and 2014 when Atlanta was famously paralyzed by ice and snow. South Carolina is ground zero for this storm. Columbia is looking at 4 to 6 inches of snow on multiple model runs, which would be historic for the capital city. The Midlands region could see significant accumulation. Charleston and the Lowcountry are watching carefully as even coastal areas could see snow showers with these temperatures. But the upstate and Piedmont are where the jackpot totals are showing up. Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, and surrounding areas could see 6 to 10 inches or more. The GFS is showing over a foot for some upstate locations. If this verifies, it would rival or exceed the historic storms of January 2000 and February 2014 for South Carolina. Those events brought the state to a standstill, and this one has similar, if not greater, potential. North Carolina is looking at a potentially historic snowstorm. The Piedmont from Charlotte through the Triad to Raleigh is in the bullseye. Charlotte could see 8 to 12 inches of snow on some model runs. Raleigh is looking at similar numbers with potential for even higher amounts to the east. The Euro just dropped a run showing a foot of snow across central North Carolina. Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and High Point are all in the heavy snow zone. The Sandhills region, including Fayetteville, could see substantial accumulation. The coast from Wilmington through the Outer Banks is interesting because the low pressure developing so close to the coastline could create some mixing issues, but there is still potential for significant snow even at the beaches. The mountains of North Carolina, including Asheville, Boone, and the high country, will see heavy snow, but the highest totals may actually be in the Piedmont with this particular storm track. This would be comparable to or exceeding the February 2014 storm that dropped over a foot across the Piedmont. Virginia is absolutely in the crosshairs. The Tidewater and Hampton Roads area is looking at potentially historic totals. The GFS is showing 1 to almost 3 feet of snow for areas like Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Newport News. Now that is likely overdone, but even half of that would be extraordinary. Richmond could see 6 to 12 inches or more. The I-95 corridor through Northern Virginia and into the D.C. suburbs is looking at significant accumulation. The Shenandoah Valley and Western Virginia will see heavy snow, with the mountains picking up substantial totals. Roanoke and Lynchburg are in the heavy snow zone. This could rival the memorable storms of February 2010 and February 2014 for Virginia. The Delmarva Peninsula, including the eastern shore of Maryland and Virginia plus Delaware, is looking at potentially historic snow. Some models are showing a foot or more for this region. Dover, Salisbury, and surrounding areas need to prepare for a significant event. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore are on the western edge of the heaviest snow, but both cities could see significant accumulation. The models show the heaviest snow staying just east of I-95, but D.C. could see 4 to 8 inches with Baltimore in similar territory. The eastern suburbs and areas toward the Chesapeake Bay will see higher totals. The northeast from New Jersey through New England is in play, but the storm is currently tracking to stay mainly east of I-95. New York City could see accumulating snow, especially in the eastern boroughs and Long Island. Boston and southeastern Massachusetts are looking at a potentially significant hit with some models showing a foot to a foot and a half. Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket could see 1 to 2 feet if the storm tracks close enough. Philadelphia and southern New Jersey could see accumulating snow with higher totals to the east. The coastal areas of New Jersey from Atlantic City southward are in the heavier snow zone. Now let me explain why this setup is so favorable, because the meteorology here is fascinating. We have consistent troughing over the eastern United States, creating a buckle in the jet stream. This is caused by high latitude blocking with negative NAO and negative AO values. This pattern is allowing cold air to consistently spill into the eastern states. The temperature anomalies are remarkable. We are looking at 15 to 30 degrees below average across the entire region for the next 5 days. This deep cold is critical because it means any precipitation that falls will be snow, and the snow ratios will be exceptionally high. The energy in the atmosphere is also impressive. We have northern stream energy diving out of Canada following the axis of the trough. We have southern stream moisture ready to interact. The trend over the past several model runs has been for the energy to dig more aggressively and curl into that negative tilt faster. When upper-level energy takes on a negative tilt, it means a rapidly strengthening surface low. That is what creates these major coastal snowstorms. The comparison to 2013 is apt not just for the potential snow totals, but for the pattern itself. That winter featured a strongly negative NAO and AO that allowed Arctic air to repeatedly plunge into the eastern states. We are seeing that same blocking pattern now. The difference is, this storm has the potential to impact areas much further south than the typical February nor'easters that hammered the Northeast in 2013. For the Carolinas specifically, this would be one of the most significant snowstorms in decades. The January 2000 storm that dropped a foot across central North Carolina is often referenced as a benchmark event. This storm has potential to rival or exceed that. The Euro Ensemble, which combines 51 different model runs into an average, has been increasing totals with each run. The trend is not just for more snow, it is also for the snow to extend further southwest. Areas like eastern Georgia and eastern Tennessee are now showing up in the ensemble mean. That kind of expanding footprint is exactly what you want to see if you are hoping for a significant storm. The GFS ensemble is in agreement with the Euro ensemble, which adds confidence. When your two major ensemble systems are showing the same general solution, the odds of a significant event increase substantially. Now, I have to be clear about uncertainty because we are still 3 days out. A lot can change. The main question is how close to the coast this storm tracks. A 10 to 20 mile difference in the low-pressure track makes an enormous difference in who sees the heaviest snow. Too far offshore, and this becomes a minor event for most areas. Right along the coast, and we are looking at potential historic impacts. But the trends have been in the right direction. The models have been backing west. The energy is digging better. The cold air is locked in place. All the ingredients are there for something significant. If you are in the Carolinas, Virginia, or the Mid-Atlantic, you need to be preparing now. Stock up on supplies. Make sure you have ways to stay warm if power goes out. The combination of potentially heavy snow and bitter cold that follows creates dangerous conditions. I will be tracking this storm closely over the next several days as we get closer and the picture becomes clearer. But right now, this is shaping up to be one of the most significant winter storms for the Southeast in years, potentially rivaling the memorable events of 2013 and 2014. That is going to wrap it up for this update. Exciting times ahead if you are a winter weather fan. Stay safe, stay warm, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.